This is KTN News.
Welcome back to Morning Express. On the Dawn debate this morning, unexplained deaths and suspected extrajudicial executions are becoming commonplace as we get into the campaigns. Just 3 days ago, news broke out that Mumias company secretary Ronald Lubia had been killed under mysterious circumstances, this after a spate of threats. This was days after a woman was shot and killed in Bungoma in a political feud. In midday, Churo Amaya Ward MCA Thomas Benito was also found dead at Oldonyo's Sebuk River after he went missing in Laikipia. These deaths are just but a part of the growing statistics of unexplained or forced disappearances. Well, in studio to help us get to the bottom of this matter is police spokesperson Charles Sowino and Amnesty International's Abdullahi Harake, who is the East African researcher. Gentlemen, welcome to the Dawn debate. I'd like to begin with you, Harake, because the basis of this conversation is also on a report by Amnesty International. And according to this report, police and other security agencies carried out extrajudicial killings as well as enforced disappearances and torture. In this report, we point out two examples, the likes of Willie Kimani, a lawyer who was killed alongside his client and taxi driver. You also point out to a nurse, Job Omariba, who went missing and his body was later discovered at a mortuary later on. We've also pointed out to the issue of the August 29th when 4 suspected police officers walked into a hospital and shot a man dead. These are issues that you have brought out, and in the when we began there, bring out the issue of the Mumias Sugar legal aid officer there as well. What is the basis of this report, first of all? And is this everything that has been reported in terms of forced disappearances?
Let me just put this in its proper context first. The executions or police or security agencies killing is nothing new. It's a well-trodden, rich path that the Kenya Police has been on, despite the reforms that we've had since 2010. Whenever we have any contemporary security challenges, our police resort to this. And the easiest way is really first say, let's form, a special squad. I'll give you an example. 80s, 90s, when we had, problems with highway robbery, bank robberies, we formed, the flying squad. If you go and read human rights report around that time or media accounts, there are people who are being taken from moving buses shot while they have surrendered. So this is nothing new. We had problems with Mungiki. Go and read Kenya National Commission on Human Rights report. It's probably the most gut-wrenching report. Incidentally, the Kwekwe squad that was formed to fight Mungiki, most of them have been killed in mysterious circumstances again. It's the same with stock theft. I can go on and on and on. ATPU story is, a story that everybody knows. And the thread that links all these, there are no investigations. And you'll hear the police, that's the one point that I want to put it out there. So it's nothing new, it's just that now because we've got more, focused reporting around these issues. The second thing that you will hear, a lot of the time people who justify that police killing is because of the crime or the increase in crime, my question is, who is supposed to fight crime? It's the police.
All right.
Secondly, they say, when we arrest a suspect, he's taken in, he will get a bail and he will come out. Hey, you know what? This is 2017. People have got right to bail. Just finally, we were in Korogosho on Tuesday. This mother, she's in her 70s. She's lost 5 of her sons. She could not finish a sentence without crying. And the argument that we consistently get is that we are fighting crime. There is no empirical evidence that when you use extrajudicial execution, that when you're fighting crime. There is no empirical evidence.
So we do have the police spokesman here, and according to Amnesty International report, there was 177 cases of extrajudicial killings in Africa in 2016, and Kenya accounted for 122 of those.
I think before I get into that, I have to answer. First of all, you know where he comes from. And he comes from an organization that must be relevant. As much, we also still need to appreciate that as police, we must be accountable. We are the ones responsible for security of every Kenyan in this country. And we are a very lucky country that after the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, we managed to get a civilian oversight authority that looks into issues of complaints against police. You are aware that we have very many Kenyans losing their lives before because of crime. And many a times, people also forget that we also have justifiable circumstances in law when a police officer may use his firearm. And it remains justifiable depending on this. And if there's a query onto that, an inquiry is carried and a discussion is made. He has made very wild allegations that there are no investigations. Unfortunately, we are bringing back the issue of Willie Kimani, the issue of the nurse, the issue of Ngandi. I appreciate that all these issues came up, investigations were carried out, and we held particular police officers responsible for those actions. And remember, as officers of the law, and more so as police officers, we take responsibility of our own omissions and commissions as individuals. This country, the police must be embraced for the role that they play in management of security. I believe he's secure. For him to have been born, brought up to this level, I believe generally you are a secure person. But what I can say is that much of the issues he's saying have not been investigated and people have been taken to court. And where police officers have been involved, police officers have not been involved as a fact that members of the service or some people sat somewhere and organized that so-and-so is going to be killed.
So what is the rate of investigation of these cases? Take a look at the number that Amnesty International bringing in, 122 cases in 2016. Are they all investigated?
Just a minute. What I would like to say is that it's very unfortunate when it comes from him that there are no investigations.
So investigations
even
are
when
being
he talks about the case of Willie Kimani and so on. And I'm sure he's talking with the chairman of IPOA on daily basis.
Maybe, Halake, your basis that no investigations are being done.
Number one, I did not say investigations are not done. Where are the impact?
You have said, excuse me.
Where are the impacts?
No.
Let him finish.
Please. No. Just a minute.
Let me finish,
You have
please.
said no investigations.
Where
and
are
it can
these
be replayed.
Where are these investigations when we had a young man shot live on camera recording
And that
in
is
his
something
sleep.
that we want to get into.
In his sleep, and we saw it. And you heard your boss, Nairobi County boss, saying that, no, he has nothing to apologize for.
Mr. Otieno, basing on that,
How
for a
can you
country
say
that
that?
professes democracy and exercise of human rights, such instances of warring, explain that situation in Isili. We saw a gang member being executed in broad daylight. The videos are all over social media. Where does that leave the right to a fair trial, the right to life?
Excuse me, I've just said that we are a very lucky country, that we have a civilian oversight authority managing some of these issues. I wish it is not within my docket to instruct the civilian oversight authority. Equally, we have an internal affairs unit that many a times, if they have complaints, they bring and we work on. And I think it would have been very fair if you would have appreciated the fact that we have arrested police officers and taken to court.
Yes, but we're still focusing on the Isili issue. You have not answered that question. What happened there?
It's the matter is under investigations by IPOA and the Internal Affairs Unit.
There's been a lot of complaints of the same happening in Mombasa in terms of those suspected to have links to Al-Shabaab, Muslims being targeted because of links to Al-Shabaab. And that is the same situation that happened in Isili. Is it just enough that investigations are ongoing? Does it mean that it can happen again?
What I wonder,
because police officers have the leeway to do that.
What I wonder as a country, are we advocates of criminals? Because what we are saying is that we cannot sit and say we don't have people committing crime in this country. That Kenyans are good people. We don't have people committing crime. We don't have people killing people in their homes.
We do have judicial processes.
Yes.
One is innocent until
that's what I'm
proven
saying.
guilty. Where is that right?
Excuse me. How many cases do we have before court every day? Do you have any statistics? Have you come with the cases that we have before court on daily basis of murderers?
That is great. That is when they get to court. But this is somebody who was killed in broad daylight. He was not taken to court. No charges were read to him. And that is what you want an answer to, Mr.
You want to
Otieno.
imply to us that we don't have murderers in court, that every person who has committed murder in this country has been killed by police.
So they are in court.
Excuse me, we don't have thieves in this country that are in court, that anybody who is a thief has been killed, that we don't have terrorists who are serving sentence or who have been charged before court, that out of the hundreds and thousands of persons that we arrest and take through judicial process, if by mistake a police kills a person and we have arrested and charged him as an individual, that is what you play day in, day out. It amounts to incitement. And let me tell you, the public needs the confidence in their police. Many a times when crimes take place, these crimes take place in the absence of the police, and we need the public to bring information to us. When we create animosity intentionally between police and the public, what will happen is that in most of our investigations, the public will not be able to offer information to us. I think the police need to be appreciated for the work we have done. Just a year or 2 years ago, we have had serious problems on bombings in this country, on those persons that we are trying to protect, saying that we are directing our efforts to individuals. So remember, we have individuals who are not even Muslim families in Mombasa. We have Owinos, Ochiengs, Simius, who have joined Islam at older ages, that are going to Somalia, training and coming back. No, it pains me that we are a country of inciters, a country of people who create animosity, a country of people who don't appreciate what people do.
All right, because we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that, Mr. Oshari, because nobody is putting into question that police officers are working. But when an incident is noted, like the one that happened in Isili, questions must be asked and answers must be given. And I want to get into the issue of the Laikipia MCA, but before we get to that,
I just want to respond to Ndugu Owino's a couple of points. One, he says that we are inciting people. And he rightly pointed out that they need public confidence. We just got the preliminary report on perception survey of the relations between police and community in Mombasa and Kwale. The figures are staggering. Let me break it to you, Ndugu.
Yes.
You don't have public confidence. And the majority of people are saying why? Because of the way you conduct your operations. Number two, we are not sitting here defending criminals, sitting here defending terrorists. There is Prevention of Terrorism Act 2012 on how you deal with terrorists. You rightly pointed out, in certain circumstances, and the law is very clear, a police officer can use lethal force. But before it escalates to that, there are processes that you follow. In that Isili video that everybody saw, this police officer had that guy, he has disempowered him. Why shoot him? If there is no sanction from the top, which you said it isn't, why is that guy, the police officer who shot that guy, he is still going around in those informal settlement areas threatening people?
I want to ask one question.
I gave you a chance. I gave you a chance when you spoke.
No, are you indicting?
We are not. Neither can police.
Are you indicting IPOA?
No,
just a minute. Are you indicting IPOA?
Not at all.
You are saying that the chairman of IPOA and his team have failed to undertake their duty.
I'm not going to do that.
Because
That's
the
your
Inspector
words.
General of Police, the Inspector General of Police has taken it upon himself on that particular case to talk to Independent Oversight Authority and Internal Affairs Unit to investigate the matter.
Let me just...
Unfortunately, Mr. Owino, this is one case. This is one case that Kenyans happened to see because it was in broad daylight. How many other cases like this are going unaccounted for?
Listen, you are safe because of police, I can assure you. You are safe because of police.
That is not being put into question.
What I'm saying is very simple. That you are indicting IPOA and you are indicting the Internal Affairs Unit.
Let me
let's move on from this and get some clarity.
No. We have an institution investigating this matter. They have not yet given a report. Remember, we had a case of Kwekwe in Kwale where some girl was shot. You remember the case where a girl was killed in Kwale. IPOA took a lot of their time and they had the police officers arrested. We had a case of Willie Kimani. We had our officers allegedly involved. The matter was investigated. We have the officers in court. We have a case of the nurse. We are a large population.
All right.
Excuse me. First of all, it is important to appreciate the good things we have done. It is also important to appreciate the number of cases where we have had rogue officers who have been charged. But it is bad to brand the whole service and incite people. The public confidence we are talking about
We'll release the reports.
And I'm
Mr.
saying,
Otieno, we
and
don't
I'm
have
saying
much
you are
time.
part.
We will get into the public confidence. What we want to find
you
out,
are-
first
no,
of all,
no,
we
no.
need to
I'm
put
not
it clearly
happy.
that
No,
nobody is questioning
Excuse
the
me.
fact that police
I'm not happy.
really are working. Because we need to move ahead in this conversation.
Excuse me.
Nobody
We
is
can't
questioning that
move
police
ahead.
are working.
No, we can't.
But is the police force, does the police force have a problem with their powers being questioned or put into check?
First of
Because
all,
anytime these issues are brought up, questions must be asked. But there's very fierce reactions from the
no,
police
no,
force.
no, no.
Yourself
You know
being
why
one
I'm
of them.
reacting in that manner? I'm reacting in that manner because your approach is quite rudimentary and you don't appreciate what police do. I've said and I've admitted that we have cases, very clear cases, where police officers have been charged for committing offenses.
All right, so
we are not denying that. But what we are saying is we cannot be a country where even if people do extremely good jobs, you try to keep on inciting the public against the police.
Because these issues
you
keep
are not
coming
going
up
to
and
get
questions must
policemen
be
from
asked, Mr.
Uganda.
Otieno. You cannot run
we
away
have
from that
institutions. But we have institutions. We have IPO as an oversight authority. We have internal affairs unit. We have the judiciary. Even now, you are still bringing the case of Willie Kimani, while the matter is before court and discussing it here.
Speaking of the judiciary, isn't extrajudicial killings like what happened in Isili in broad daylight an indication that even the police force has no trust in the judiciary and in the prosecution that this person needs a fair right to trial?
Why do you say we have no trust?
Because the right was, if you shoot a man in public, in broad daylight, without giving him a right to a fair trial, then that means that the police force does not have faith in the judiciary.
Let me ask you a question. If today your father is a pastor or a bishop and your brother becomes a criminal, do you indict your father? We are a police service. We have many police officers. If one of us commit a crime, do you indict the whole service?
Let me respond to that question.
Right, please, Halake.
It's unfortunate.
Ndugu, let's have a conversation. It will just be nice. We are on a live, family television in the morning. Let's have a conversation.
But be decent.
I'm trying to be decent with you.
This is national security. This is national security. This is not a joke or a cup of tea.
Because this conversation must
continue.
Halake,
my brother, you've interrupted me multiple times and I've let you
because of your approach.
My approach has been
very negative.
Let's continue the conversation. Mr. Halake, kindly carry on.
Ndugu Charles is saying that we cannot indict the entire police force for a mistake of few.
Of one.
We hear this theory all the time, that this is the work of few rogue police officers. It is becoming incredibly untenable when we have got few too many. We've got so many few rogue police officers. For a police force that is under 100,000, then we should be able to weed these guys. And we're trying to help you do exactly that, Ndugu Charles. But what you are trying to do, you are trying to defend these guys, and it's not good for your own image.
I'm not defending the rogue policeman. I'm defending the decent police officers
do all the time.
Who have been working the whole night yesterday till this morning.
We do.
And you are indicting them.
No, we are not.
You are not
paying taxes.
Mr. Otieno,
We are paying taxes
in the
in
dailies this morning, we have several pages dedicated to police officers who died in the line of fire
but not
while
on this
fighting
forum.
Al-Shabaab. All right? So
not.
that is not put into question.
No.
The conversation here is based on extrajudicial killings by police. No one is refuting the fact that police officers are working in the country. And so just drawing from that, is it even rogue police officers? Because let me draw your attention to an Al Jazeera report that was made in 2014, and it keeps coming back, even in 2017. And this was a feature that was based on members of the Kenyan police and intelligence units who were accused of hunting down and assassinating terror suspects. And they claimed that these orders were given and planned by high-ranking officers and government officials. Now, after that very controversial feature played, Kenya said they're going to investigate Al Jazeera on the basis of this feature. What is the progress of those investigations? Was it verified?
One, I'm not aware of anybody who has said is going to investigate Al Jazeera. Usually what happens is that when we get those kind of clips, what happens is to try and identify the persons that are involved in that communication and find out, are they police officers or just other individuals? If they are police officers or individuals that we can find, then the best thing that we do is, because if as a service we start investigating directly on cases that affect us, we will not be believed.
Right.
And that is why I've said that the coming in of independent police oversight, the civilian oversight authority, has been very good to us, because with the civilian oversight authority, I believe they will be able to believe the investigations that they come up with. So in such like cases, many a times, we give it to Internal Affairs Unit and the Independent Police Oversight Authority. They look into it and try to verify the authenticity of whoever the person that is talking is. And from there, they can be able to make a decision.
All right. So what then is the commitment of the police force in lowering or doing away with extrajudicial killings in the country? Let me draw a few issues into context for you. The case of the Mumias legal officer. Very recently, we had a Laikipia MCA whose body was found at the Oldonyo Sabuk River, the same place where the body of Willie Kimani, who was killed by police officers, was found. There's been no word with regard to those investigations, even by police, as to who killed the Laikipia MCA. Residents of Oldonyo Sabuk River just recently also have complained of the rise of the number of bodies being retrieved from that river as a result of extrajudicial killings. What is the police force doing?
Number one, I would want to correct you. We are no longer a force. We cease to be a force. We are a service to the people of Kenya. And if you maintain it in your mind that it's a force, then you will keep accusing us the way you are doing. What I can say, first of all, is that according to us as police, there's nowhere we sit and plan to have anybody dead. It is our responsibility as a service to ensure that every Kenyan has a right to his life and lives. What I can say is that we have cases where individual police officers have been involved in committing crime. There are cases where we have, even without you recording, we have cases where we have arrested police officers for various offenses and charged them. We are one institution that if you check on our records, we dismiss quite a number of police officers, not only on criminal matters, but even on serious disciplinary matters. The problem that tends to appear is that even in cases which have been investigated and persons have been charged before court, more so police officers as individuals, we still go ahead to replay it, to try and paint the police negatively. And that is why I was saying that it is very unfortunate that when we do this, then we create a wider gap between the public and the police.
What you want to know is what are the police doing?
Let me finish. We are a well-trained service, but you cannot stop a person who is a criminal from committing an offense. Even amongst us, you will find one or two persons who are criminals. And that is why I gave you an example. You can be a sheikh today, but you can give birth to a terrorist. We cannot come and indict you. The case of Mumias, the gentleman at Mumias had reported earlier that his life was under threat. Unfortunately, he reported to the internal security system of Mumia Sugar Company. He reported to the security manager. And unfortunately, the security system of Mumia Sugar did not report the matter to the police for investigations. We are told that he was asked to record a statement with the security department at Mumia Sugar, and he did not record a statement. As it stands, there are very clear evidence of kind of a social involvement in a number of issues here and there that we have followed. So far, we have arrested one person that he mentioned to the security.
All right.
And he mentioned the person, the name of the person, and even the vehicle number. We have taken the person to court because of regulations, because, you know, we cannot keep him in custody for more than 24 hours, so that court could be able to give us opportunity to have him for more than 24 hours to meet the investigations and find out if we could charge him. That is the major position. Now, for the case of the MCA that was killed, remember, yes. I think it's a Baringo MCA, not a Laikipia MCA. We have had two incidents in Baringo. There was one incident in Marigat where an aspirant member of parliament and an MCA were shot in a social place. I hope Amnesty International is not going to say it is police. We opened an inquiry into that, and we hope we will be able to get an answer to it. But you know the situation in Marigat. The case of the other MCA was an MCA from Baringo also. He was taking tea in an hotel in Cabernet with a female friend. And some people came and introduced themselves as police, that they wanted to see him. So they left the lady taking tea. The man went, and he took so long. So the lady thought maybe the man had been arrested by police from Cabernet police station. And she reported, and it was found that was not the case, and the body was found. What I would like to say is that in all these cases, we need to be very sober, especially when we want to indict the police. Where the police is wrong, we must say the police is wrong. Right. Remember, some of us, we are in police service as a workforce. We are employees. This is where we get our daily bread, the same way you get it from
but
here.
you say it's a forced motor service, but I would just want to wind up. So I want your thoughts on something else before we wind up, because as we head to the elections, first of all, Halake, about 59 days to the election, what is Amnesty International's concern as we head to the election with regard to extrajudicial killings?
I just want to, just a little bit. Ndugu Charles feels like he's under siege.
I'm not.
My brother, what we are trying to do is to weed out the same rogue police officers that you have. She is not accusing you, or we are not accusing you, or we are not indicting police officers. If police officers do their job, we will not have our job. Just do your job and you'll see us out of business. You're speaking about extrajudicial execution and as we head to the elections. Our biggest concern is he keeps on coming back to, let's say, IPOA. It's the same IPOA that has been struggling to get into police because they have got direct order from the top. They cannot access some of these police stations. Even with IPOA, we work with IPOA as much as we can, and they know our position. As we are heading into the election, some of these mysterious, unexplained killings that are taking, a pattern that we cannot really explain. For us, it's not whether it's politics or not. It's human life at stake. Secondly, it's the freedom of expression, association, and assembly as far as, Public Order Management Act is concerned. If that is used in a manner that, can, derail people from enjoying those freedoms, that will become a particularly very disturbing from us. We've seen it during the IBC demos, how people are beaten up. People are just come out to express what they felt. And now, Public Order Management Act is very clear. Once people provide, the details of the route, where they're coming, what they want to do, the police job is largely minimum. So what we are saying to the police, and this is our message. Our message is not to indict you. Our message is not to indict the entire service. We know that there are an incredibly dedicated police officers within the police force. A little wonder we were involved in that IPOA to reward the best police officers. We do that, and we will continue doing that. But that can only happen if your police officers begin using the law. We have got so many legal provisions that empower the police officers. If they stick to that, things will be done. I hear you. You say it's a national security. It's a national security matter for us as well. You say we don't support the police. We pay taxes in this country. We support the police. All we are asking is, when we find a police officer who fail in their duty and they make your name look bad, deal with them. If you say you are investigating something, investigate to the latter. We don't have investigative power as an organization. Ours is to go and speak to people and record that testimony as such. If we share some of the data that we have around the number of people who are being killed in informal settlement areas, you will not even believe it. And my final appeal, I'm sorry I'm taking too much. My final appeal, we are going into all these informal settlement. We've started with Korogosho. Yesterday we were elsewhere. I will send you the schedule. Police, internal affairs unit people have attended. Some of you people from police leadership have attended. Come and attend. Listen to these heart-wrenching stories. People now are being targeted if they wear, a baseball hat, if they are wearing bling bling, if they are wearing certain kind of shoes. That can't keep us safe. Your safety is my safety. Peace and security, law and order that you would want to maintain, it's in my benefit and it's in your benefit. Let's weed out this.
I have only one question for him.
I'm giving you a final comment.
No.
But
I have one
question. It must come with my question, Mr. Owino. Drawing from what he said.
You don't want me to answer
I am giving you a chance to answer. Give me a moment. Drawing from what he said, how do we then ensure sanity? That you don't, a police officer doesn't have the right to kill you just because you looked at them in the wrong way. And drawing from that, Ouma in Bungoma has already been killed in a mix-up in a political rally. So how is the police service planning to ensure sanity and no extrajudicial killings in this electoral period?
I'm sad that as a moderator, you have a fixed mind. And apparently you don't live in this country. And you don't appreciate the good work that the police do.
Already
I've
established.
said that from the most important thing is that we are admitting as a service that we have cases where officers have been involved. But we also need to understand that there's a lot of crime which need to be addressed in a different way, apart from addressing it. I wish we had more time. We have a lot of crime. Those slum areas we are talking about, Korogocho, Kariobangi, and so on and so forth. We have a number of innocent Kenyans that are stabbed on daily basis and killed. I don't know whether you have taken that data.
But that's a failure of policing.
No. You know, you cannot blame police even when you don't go to work and get food to give your children. You cannot blame police even when you don't take your children to school and they become criminals.
But do
you
police
can't.
react, or are they also supposed to prevent?
What I'm saying is, yes, we have a lot of ways of preventing. But apparently, you are soon going to blame us when you don't get children. What we are saying is that let us be objective. Let us be honest to ourselves. We cannot blame police for everything. That all criminals in this country, including terrorists, is because of police.
But you can't. You
live as if. Excuse me.
You can't. It's not your job to determine if somebody is a terrorist or a criminal. That is the job of the judiciary.
Let me tell you.
It's the job of the judiciary to determine.
All right, let's give Mr. Owino some time to speak.
Don't talk as if you are illiterate, my brother. As much as it's the job of the judiciary to determine what you should know, the person who investigates you and arrests you is the policeman. It is not the magistrate.
With a reasonable cause.
Excuse me.
All right,
and we have done it.
Let's wind up, Mr. Owino. We want to find out what the police is going to do in this electoral period.
It is very difficult to discuss with advocates of criminals and persons looking for money.
All right, we're about to wind up. Talk to us about what the service is doing 60 days to the general election, and also address the issue of Oldonyo Sabuk River, because residents there have complained too many bodies are being dumped there. What is the police service doing?
On general elections, we have a lot of work between now and the time that we are going to have the date of elections, and even after elections. Remember that if nobody gets 50+1, then we may go for a rerun. And if we go for a rerun, then we will also have a responsibility. Equally, after the conclusion of elections and announcement of results, it will also depend on how the candidates will react to the results. The losers, will they be willing to feel that the election was free and fair? We don't carry out the election process, but we provide security for the election process.
You do. A woman was
killed
in Bungoma. Where were police officers then?
Can't I finish this? The woman who was shot in Bungoma was shot during fracas between two warring factions, between the sitting governor and an aspirant, when their people came together and met. And unfortunately, one person discharged his firearm, and it hit a woman. The firearm, the person who hit the woman was charged, and definitely on human perspective.
Was it a police officer?
Yes, he was. He's a bodyguard of one of I think a bodyguard of the deputy governor.
All right.
And the officer was arrested and has been charged for the offense. I don't want to defend him, but I want to believe that the fire was not directed at the woman, but it's unfortunate she died in the
So should live bullets then be used in that situation?
There is no day you will carry a firearm without a live bullet. If you carry a firearm without a live bullet, then it means it's a rungu.
That is not the question. Should it be used in that situation?
Excuse me. You cannot carry a firearm without a live bullet. If you carry it without a live bullet, it becomes a rungu. Let us avoid theories.
Okay.
We must carry firearms. We must carry them with... And before, even in the early 70s, we used not to carry firearms.
It's not about carrying firearms. It's where these firearms are used. Is it wise to use a firearm in a political rally where there is innocent civilians?
It depends on the situation. If for example, the life of the person that is guarding is in danger, he would be authorized to use his firearm.
And endanger somebody else's life.
But remember, these people are well trained, and that is why when you use it unfairly, you face the law.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Understandable. Gentlemen, we've come to a close on our Dawn debate. Of course, a conversation that needs so much more time to discuss. But thank you so much for speaking to us. That is police spokesman Charles Owino and Abdullahi Helake, who is the East African researcher from Amnesty International, which has documented several instances of extrajudicial killings in the country, putting Kenya as the top country in Africa when it comes to extrajudicial killings. Do continue this conversation on our social media platforms as well. Our hashtag on Twitter is Morning Express KTN. It is now 22 minutes past the hour. Let's take a short break on Morning Express, but do stay with us. It is Friday, so we'll be back with our hot topics in a few minutes.